Matt, can you see Big Sam after his first ever relegation? The one thing he's got on his CV has been scratched off and pooped on. Where does he go? Does he ever come back? Is he done now? Is that it?
I think the only club he should rock up at is his local working man's club with a pint of wine, go and play darts, and then go and get some chips and gravy on the way home, Big Sam, because your record that you've clung on to for your whole career is now gone. You're meant to be this defensive genius of a coach, and you've got West Brom relegated, so you can't even talk about that with your mates anymore. I don't like how arrogant Big Sam is about this kind of thing. He always comes across as that, as this guy that's above his station. Yes, he has had a good record with teams that he took over, and he has saved them from relegation, but now that's gone out the window. Take a break from life, Sam. Go and dance to Rihanna. We got love in this hopeless place in a beaver or something. Yeah, with a
what a video!
Yeah, it's a great video. That put your feet up, pint of wine, chips and gravy. Yeah, I think that the only club he should rock up at is his local working man's club.
Do you remember, Ian, earlier this season when there was two guys who I'm reluctant to name, but they work for a Middle East broadcasting company. When they said that Pep Guardiola could do with bringing in Sam Allardyce to sort out the defence, and it wasn't even tongue in cheek; they were genuinely being serious.
It was just banter.
It was. Do you remember that, Ian? And
Yes.
also, how stupid does that look now? And do you want to actually answer the question as well of will he ever be back in the Premier League?
Big Sam. Hey, Big Sam. Yeah, it does look... look, what this is showing is that times have moved on. And we're talking about clubs now... just earlier, we were talking about Crystal Palace and Southampton, and how you've got these teams that are now building for the future. They're spreading their net. They're turning it into a global game. Things are changing. The old 4-4-2 and all that kind of stuff doesn't always work. Now, Big Sam has worked his magic in a number of places, and obviously this is the first time in the Premier League that it hasn't actually worked out for him. Will we see him back in the Premier League? Possibly, because he's a well-known name. He's one of these guys that's kind of available. He's either doing media duties or he's rescuing a club in peril. I can see him rocking up at somewhere like Crystal Palace, for example, or even Southampton. Places like, that kind of level of club. I don't see him rocking up at Manchester United anytime soon, or Arsenal,
I wish.
or anything like that. I do see him rocking up at Cinderella's nightclub Wolverhampton, which will be the closest from where around he lives around that area. I think Cinderella's show bar he would have a right good time at. I used to share the same hairdresser as Sam Allardyce at one point. And
is that something to brag about?
I've got to say it was the worst haircut. It was the worst haircut I've ever had in my life. So if that's living Sam's life, then I don't want it.
I'll tell you what, Sam Allardyce, to me, in my opinion, is a Triceratops, and I'll tell you why. Because the Triceratops was the last dinosaur standing. It was the last one to go extinct, and him being relegated now with West Brom and probably leaving for in the summer to enjoy his wine and his gravy. I think that's the end of it.
Together.
Yeah.
That's a proper cocktail.
Yeah. That is an absolute mix if ever you've seen one.
Was getting relegated the asteroid that wiped out.
Yeah, basically. So once you hit the championship, that is the asteroid that wipes out the Triceratops. And if a Triceratops did have a bad haircut, it would be Sam Allardyce. So there you go. Anyway, right, we're going to move on before this podcast has descended into absolute chaos. I don't know if they'll ask me to host it again, but never mind. Sorry, Jim.